So I beseech you on the good names of the children of the fence and your love of God, Claudio Sanchez, to strike down this bastardy of bitchiness.
So someone downloaded our episodes and this is what's upsetting you today? Doesn't that help us?
I'm sorry I brought it up.
Downvote. Hit the dislike button.
Oh, they downvoted.
Hey, can you do a new banner for the end of the podcast, Paul, where it says, please don't like, please thumbs down, please unsubscribe?
Here's what I said on YouTube. I don't know about all like Spotify and Apple iTunes, but it doesn't matter if they hit thumbs up or thumbs down. They both count as a community engagement, and the algorithm promotes it based on the more community engagements. So as far as I'm concerned, I wish you would get 500 friends to downvote all of our videos. And what happened? What happened to being anti-culture? It's cool to get downvotes.
Yeah. Hey, man, there's no such thing as bad publicity.
Publicity?
I don't know if that's actually true. I mean...
Hey, gets people talking.
Jesse Smollett would disagree.
It's true.
Who?
Juicy Smollett?
I watched one episode of Band of Brothers.
Okay, welcome to Brothers from Other Mothers, where we lacklusterly talk about what we were supposed to talk. Okay.
I actually, just today, I went down a weird fucking rabbit hole of research. Did you know we are in a ketchup strike? Or a ketchup shortage?
Oh,
yes.
We are? I didn't know that.
I heard about it on my morning talk show.
Now, here's what's more cool. This is the second ketchup shortage in history. The first one being in 1973. So, in case anybody knows, Heinz 57 has the market cornered on ketchup. And another small fact, the only reason I know about this is because I lived in England. In England, every product sold to the consumer has to be approved by the Crown. The only ketchup that the Queen will allow be sold in the United Kingdom is Heinz. But that's irrelevant to the point. So, if you go to the store, you're going to see ketchup on the shelves. There's not any issues with buying ketchup for your house. The issue is ketchup packets. So, like, restaurants have a shortage on ketchup packets because Heinz has been the only big producer of ketchup packets. Number 2 in the world is McDonald's. They make their own ketchup. It was fascinating how,
really?
I uncovered this whole, fast food monopoly of ketchup packets. And now Wendy's has realized, fuck you, I'm going to get in the ketchup game. So Wendy's and McDonald's now make their own ketchup packets.
I did not know McDonald's made their own ketchup. It makes sense. The ketchup's really kind of sweet and sugary. It does taste different.
McDonald's, all products in McDonald's are owned by McDonald's. So McDonald's owns potato farms, beef farms. They have their own bakeries to make their own buns. McDonald's is 100% self-sufficient.
I wouldn't mind buying their ketchup. Their ketchup's good. It's funny. When I worked in the stock room, I worked with an old guy named Tom McKenna during the Bush era when John Kerry was running, and he was so dead. This guy Tom I worked with who was dead set against anything having to do with Kerry to the point where he refused to have Heinz ketchup anywhere in the fucking break room, and it always it befuddled me. And I brought Heinz in one day. And he says, "Get that shit out of here." And I said, "What the fuck? What is your? It's ketchup." He's like, "Oh, she's fucking married to that goddamn Heinz bitch, man. It's all part of a conspiracy." I'm like, to me, ketchup all tastes the same, doesn't it?
Well, the issue is. No, it doesn't.
There's a stand-up comic, I don't remember, just recently heard it, but he was talking about this. He's like, if I fucking walk into your house for a barbecue and you offer me anything else besides Heinz ketchup, just let me know. I will fucking stop at the store on the way there and spend the extra 50 fucking cents for Heinz ketchup. Do not give me your generic brand fucking ketchup.
I can remember being a kid and Mom would go grocery shopping and I'd open up the fridge door and I'd see a bottle of Del Monte and I looked at my mom and I'd just be like, we're the poorest now, aren't we? The issue is, since COVID started, all the restaurants need ketchup packets. Before, they used to have the refillable squeeze bottles. Well, you can't use refillable squeeze bottles because the restaurants aren't open to public. They're handing out ketchup packets and that's why we have the shortage.
Not down here.
Not down here.
Guys, stock up. It's going to be gold one day. When that Zack Snyder's Las Vegas zombie movie kicks into effect, we might need it as a currency.
Wood is the big thing down here right now. We have so many empty construction sites of houses. We're in the middle of a big fucking construction boom down here, but they have to stop building all these houses and buildings and condos because you can't get fucking wood.
Huh. It's everywhere, and
there's also a shortage on aluminum.
Yeah. The aluminum shortage has been happening for a while, though. I've got a whole bunch of projects. I want to build a chicken coop. I have an old trailer that I want to redo, and it's got wood floors, and you can't get wood. That, or when you do get it, they have it priced through the roof right now.
Just make concrete floors.
I got it every morning when I wake up, man.
It's like a hauling trailer. Like, you put your four-wheeler on it, you put your tractor on it.
Yeah, it won't crack if you use concrete. It'll be fine.
Bob, I don't think you understand the physics of how a trailer works.
I do.
If you can get your hands on some vibranium.
Are your tires flat? No, I took my friend's advice and I made the floor out of concrete.
We can't talk about Falcon and Winter Soldier because John hasn't seen it.
Oh.
Where are you at in the MCU, John? What's the last thing you've watched?
Thor: Dark World.
Thor: Dark World. Pretty close, either one of you.
Hang on, I actually went back and saw where I stopped the other day, so I could actually answer that now. I took a screenshot of it. Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy, Age of Ultron, Captain America: Civil War, Ant-Man or Civil War. So I think I'm at the start of Phase 3.
You're close.
Yeah, you're close to the end.
I'm not. I got like Phase 3 to go. So I'm like right at the start of Phase 3. I'm pretty sure I saw Civil War. Is that the one when he's in the elevator and all the guys are looking at him?
Winter Soldier.
Yeah. You're not watching them. You're not watching them in chronological order. You're watching them in release date.
I'm watching them in release date order. I like that better because I like little prequels and throwbacks and shit like that. That's the way that I'm doing it. Watched Mortal Kombat last night. Did anyone watch Mortal Kombat?
Yeah, did we all watch it? Bob hasn't.
You guys feel free to talk about it. I don't.
If we're comparing it to the '95 Mortal Kombat, is the superior Mortal Kombat movie?
It's an Oscar-winning picture compared to the fucking '90s Mortal Kombat.
It has its own Mortal Kombat movie. It was, it was okay.
Yeah.
I didn't love it. I didn't hate it.
I've had several people tell me that the '95 version is the better film.
What?
Because it's based around an actual tournament. I don't know. I haven't watched it.
I think they're trying to build a franchise with this movie based on how they ended it, and I think that's how you're going to get to it. Is getting through the stepping stone.
Here's the only spoiler, Bob, I'm going to give. There was not one tournament fight in this movie.
Yeah,
but there was plenty of cool fucking kills, man.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing. Whoever the main character was, like, he's not a Mortal Kombat character I'm familiar with, if he is one at all, or if he was made for the movie. You could have got rid of him in the whole tie-in to the Scorpion Bloodline thing, and the movie I think would have actually been better. The only thing I will say compared to the '95, who's the main bad guy? Sun Tzu or Tung Tzu, the guy who's in charge of all the out thing. Replace him with the Tung Tzu from the '95 Mortal Kombat, and that would have been the only switch I would have made from the '95 movie to this one.
I think he's dead.
I thought the guy in '95 did that one better.
That's funny because I watched it. I thought it was the same person.
He was also in Dark Knight.
Yes. The fucking banker that Batman goes to Japan and brings back. That's right.
It's the guy who played Sun Tzu.
Yeah.
It looks way
Not
different.
Sun Tzu, Shang-Chi.
Yeah, it's the guy who wrote The Art of War.
Hey, Bob, Bob, plate of meat, side of rice. It's all the same fucking thing.
Know your enemy very, very well.
I liked it. I'm excited to see where they go for it. It was cool to get a mature version of Mortal Kombat. It starts off really good and it ends really good, and then the middle is kind of just meh. It kind of drags a little bit, but
do you think it'll do well enough to actually get a sequel? Is the question.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
In Pandemic Land, yeah, it'll definitely will.
I'm willing to say 90% of that movie, 80 to 85% of that movie, along with a lot of the Warner Brothers to HBO Max movies, are all green screen, man. Like, it's so easy to just shoot it on a lot now and have people tweak it and make it look as best they can. Like, Mortal Kombat looked good. You could definitely see, like, some of the bad CGI in it, but Fuck, they're gonna ramp all this shit up now because it costs next to nothing to make the shit now.
Biggest movie this year in theaters has been Kong vs. Godzilla. It's made $100 million in theaters.
I know a lot of people who've seen it in theater.
Here's what I liked. They saved their money on casting. They didn't hire any already known stars. And I kind of appreciate that because we're seeing a younger cast of actors. The biggest name they had was the guy who played Jax. He played
Supergirl.
He was in True Blood. He was in True Blood. He was in Supergirl. And like he's never done anything mainstream. And he was the biggest star they had in the movie.
It was good.
Who was he in True Blood?
Remember that cow god chick?
Yeah.
He was the one she possessed.
That is not eggs. That is not eggs.
That's eggs.
Is it really?
Jax's eggs. Yeah.
This will fucking get us into the next segment that me and Doug, we've already talked about discussing. Resident Evil: The Village. Anyone play the demo?
I can't because
too
my
late.
goddamn PlayStation won't connect to the internet.
And I was too late. I downloaded it and I didn't realize that they were only doing it at certain times.
4 hours. Yeah, you had a 4-hour window, which is ridiculous. So, anyways, True Blood. Man, did I love True Blood when it first came out. The first 3 seasons, I was like, this show is one of my favorites. It's so good. And then that show just went bam and fucking hit the floor for me. When you brought in werewolves and fairy godmothers.
Yeah, they jumped the shark.
They jumped the shark, and it got way too ridiculous for me to fucking watch. To this day, I've tried 2 times to get through the final couple seasons of that show, and I just can't fucking watch it.
I disagree only because I read the books, and they did their best to try and follow the books, but they just did it poorly.
Yeah, when Alexander Skarsgård, Maker, that the young kid vampire who was the oldest, I can't remember his name for the life of me. When he died, that's where they should have ended the show.
Yeah, that was a great season.
Wasn't that when they buried him alive under the?
No, he met the sun. He met the sun on his own for the betterment of vampire and mankind. He wanted to show that vampires and humans could live in peace, and if sacrificing him, it was the Jesus tale. He played Christ. That's what it was. It was direct simulation of Christ.
Yeah, I mean the whole werepanther werewolf thing. I mean that was always part of the books, and I enjoyed that part of it. It's just the Bill Sookie thing. They took it so much further than it ever was in the books because she ends up with Eric in like book 3, and she's with Eric for a long, long time. So it's very different than the series.
Alright, so what I was going to say, so it looks like Resident Evil is going the same way via fucking True Blood, because the enemies are werewolves and fucking vampires. And I don't know how I feel about that yet. The game feels good, it looks good. When I got attacked by the werewolves, it was fucking creepy as fuck, but I was just like, really? I'm playing a Resident Evil game, and there's werewolves and vampires.
Okay, so let's go back in time to Resident Evil. We had zombie dogs. We had mutated frogmen.
You had mutated alligators in Resident Evil 2, which were pretty badass.
Yeah, so, I mean, to me, the idea of going to werewolves, okay, I'm fine with that.
How about Resident Evil 7, the fucking insects nobody fucking told me about? Fuck you.
I don't play Resident Evil, so I'm out of this one.
Okay, I'll do my top 5. Number 5, Code Veronica. 4, the Resident Evil 2 remake. Number 3, Resident Evil 7. Number 2, Resident Evil 4. And number 1, when they remade the original Resident Evil for the GameCube, PS3, PS4, etc.
So mine is going to be 3, Code Veronica. 2 is going to be Resident Evil 1, and 1 is going to be Resident Evil 4.
I'm kind of doing this off the cuff because I'm looking at all the different games in that, and I've played. It's amazing how many of these I've played. Like even some of like the. There was a period in the early 2000s where like they were pumping out Resident Evil PS2 games left and right, like Dead Aim, fucking Outbreak File, the 2 online games for the PS2 online that sucked. They were so fucking slow in loading. Resident Evil Gaiden for the Game Boy, but my top 5, I'm going to see. I'm going to go from least favorite to my most favorite. Number 1 will be my favorite, my top spot. So let's go with. Fuck me, dude. There's actually only a handful I really enjoy now that I'm looking. I'm going to reverse it. I'll go in order of my favorite to least favorite. I'm sorry, guys. Resident Evil 4 is my absolute be-all, end-all favorite of the series as far as the story goes. The characters, the controller. I love that fucking game. Up until a couple days ago, I never would have guessed it, but Resident Evil 7, that's my number 2 spot, man. Game is fucking insane. It's insane how much it unnerves me, but it's insane how much it keeps making me want to fucking play it. It's ridiculously good. Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil 7, then I'll go with Resident Evil 2 Remake, Resident Evil GameCube, Resident Evil 0, and
Really?
Yeah, I enjoyed Resident Evil 0 and Resident Evil. Actually, no, I'll put Resident Evil Remake on GameCube and then Resident Evil 0.
I'm surprised you would put 0 over Code Veronica, though.
I love Code Veronica.
I'll be completely honest with all of you guys. I know a lot of people love Nemesis and Code Veronica. Those are the two in the series that I did not care for. So much so that I have not bought in the Resident Evil 3 remake because I have no desire to play it.
It was also really poorly done port of Resident Evil 3. Too.
I feel that way about what's her face in Resident Evil 2 when you play the game through as Leon, which I did, and then on the remake you get to go back and play as Jill. And I really did not like the replay through as her. I didn't find it nearly as fun or nearly as compelling as they made Leon's in the remake.
Favorite survival horror game of all time?
Silent Hill.
You guys are making me want to go pull
Silent
my PlayStation 4 out of the garage.
You should pull your PlayStation 4 out of the garage.
Or you should just send it down to me since mine doesn't work anymore. I'll send you some ketchup packets.
Favorite survival ketchup packet. God damn it! I'm getting the delay. That's good.
Favorite survival. So when you're saying favorite survival game, does it have to be like dystopian survival or just
survival horror?
Survival horror.
Okay.
Silent Hill.
Yeah, Silent Hill for me.
I've never been big in horror games.
I would love for them Konami to remake the first Silent Hill game. That would be fucking outstanding.
Supposedly they are, but I don't believe it.
No, that there's been a rumor of that for years. I'm actually in Silent Hill online, and everyone talks about it for years. It's been a rumor.
So, Bob, I was cutting the last couple episodes, and we bring it up. You hadn't finished it, but I know you have now. And we said that we'd talk about it at some point, but you finished Justified.
I did. Thoroughly enjoyed the show. The ending to me left a little bit to be desired, honestly. But I thought it was the show was great.
I think it was the perfect ending, but I completely understand how people could be disappointed with it or upset with it.
I wasn't disappointed or upset. I was just kind of like, eh.
How many times? But here's my question: everybody in the final episode of a show always tries to go big or go home, and it usually ends with it falling horribly flat. I mean, Game of Thrones. I'm trying to think of other shows off the top of my head that were just really disappointed. Everybody's alive at the end of this. All the main characters are alive. You have a closing to every single story arc, and there's nothing left to me where you're having questions about something in the story.
Oh, no. I mean, they wrapped it up all pretty nice and neat. Dude, I ended up liking Dewey Crow much more than I ever thought I would.
How can you not love Dewey Crow? He's awesome.
I would give the show a solid 9.
It's a good show.
Fair.
And there's not many shows to me that I will give more than a 9.
I'll be honest, I'm disappointed because I keep waiting for Paul to pop up on screen with a fucking Stetson, man, in the worst way.
It's sitting in my Amazon cart. It's $140. The exact one he wore in the show.
What shows would you give your top rating to? Any genre?
Breaking Bad.
I'll tell you what. I would have to put Justified. I think I'm going to say Justified's my new favorite show of all time. If not, Rescue Me is really, really close in the running.
I'd put Justified up there. The Sopranos is up there. The Wire is up there.
If we're doing a top 5, everything you've named would be in my top 5.
Dude, I love How I Met Your Mother. I don't care what anybody says.
One of my favorite shows.
I think
for me, the best way I can articulate this for me, I watch TV shows, specifically TV shows, because I want writing that's going to draw emotion out of me. Whether that's a happy emotion, a sad emotion, something that makes me think deep critically. In like Breaking Bad, I didn't feel any emotions throughout that show. The League, same thing. Like The Office, I watched The Office and I laughed my ass off every single
I'm gonna
fucking
make it.
episode.
That's gonna have to be my next show that I watch because I still haven't watched
Start
it.
with season 2.
Yeah, that's what you guys all told me to start with season. Because as much as
start with season 1. Season 1's not bad.
I've had trouble getting through the first 2 episodes over and over and over.
I'll tell you why you should start with season 2 and not season 1. This is the argument I will make for John. Season 2 on, the characters become that version of themselves. Season 1, they're different. They're not the same people. The only thing that kind of stays the same is you get to see the building of the relationship between Jim and Pam. And that's not that much of season 1.
I'm going to disagree with Doug, and I'm going to make an argument as to why to watch season 1. It actually makes you appreciate the character development on how drastically it changes throughout the show, but specifically through season 1 to season 2.
I mean, because as much as I love Parks and Rec, and as similar as those shows are stylistically, I should like The Office. I like the actors, so I don't know why I'm having so much trouble getting into the show.
If you enjoy Parks and Rec, you will enjoy The Office. I will bet $100 on that.
I will say what I've seen so far of Band of Brothers is Jesus Christ, fuck David Schwimmer's character. Good Lord.
How do you take an actor who is so universally fucking loved and make everybody hate it? They did that at Band of Brothers.
They made it. They did it really easily.
And let me tell you right now, you're gonna really enjoy the story arc of him, and how that comes full circle.
Man, by the end of the first episode, you're like, "Fuck this guy!" Like he's the fucking worst. And the fact when that one guy just looks and says, "Look, I'm not going into battle under that son of a bitch," you're like, okay. And watching it, I didn't realize, I knew there were a lot of people in it before they were famous. But I'm like watching it, and every 2 minutes there's someone else from Justified just popping up on the screen.
Yep.
I'm like, oh, there's so-and-so, there's so-and-so.
Richard Speight Jr. is, he's in it, and he's like, if you guys are Supernatural fans, I know a couple of you guys have watched Supernatural. He's Gabriel in it, Doug. I know you haven't watched it, but he's the Archangel Gabriel. If you ever watch any of the backstage interviews of that, of like the main characters, they all love Richard, and they were like, "Oh, you guys don't know anything about Richard? Did you know he was in Band of Brothers? Don't worry, if you know him for 5 minutes, he'll fucking tell you all about it."
I read some behind-the-scenes stuff on the show before I started watching it about how it was HBO's first really expensive big show, and it was over $100 million to do, and
well, that was a big deal because a lot of the guys from the generation that show's based off of were still alive. I remember Dad's emotional, got emotional over that show.
Dick Winters literally documented everything in his journal, and once he got out and went to work in New Jersey, that's the story of Easy Company. Is that whole Band of Brothers is his book. We're watching his book play out.
Yeah,
are we boring you?
No, I'm just really fucking tired. I'm working 7 days a week overnight every night, so
I know you are, man.
Are you still working at the car lot?
No.
You quit?
No. Here's what happened. So I get to work, we get our first check, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? They're like, oh, we told you guys in training you guys weren't being paid for training. I'm like, I assure you did not tell us that, otherwise I wouldn't fucking come to training. You didn't pay us for 3 days, so fuck you. So then, moving on, like I said, I sold 5 cars in the first 2 weeks, because the first week we were only allowed 1 day. And so, the first time someone helps you, even if they just give you they don't show you any paperwork at all. It's part of their whole shtick. So you have to ask someone who's been there for help, because you don't know any of the paperwork. So, moving forward, it got to the point where I found out when Rachel bought her car, I didn't get any credit for that car because it's in the it's in the company bylaws that friends and family, you don't get any commission off of a car you sell to friends or family, which
Doesn't
was
make any
not
sense.
right.
How does it make sense? If they're paying for it and it's profit
Right.
for the company, like, why do you not get commission off it? It makes no sense.
Correct. Then, so later on that day, I had a lady who wanted a car, and this fucking guy, his name's I'll leave that in there. Fuck that guy. He's like, yeah, man. He walks over to my customer and he's like, you know, Bob's new here. I know he didn't ask you all these questions. And the lady's like, no, sir. He asked me every fucking question you just asked me. I just choose not to give you the answers. And he just kind of stopped, and then he's like, Bob, come. And I said, what did you just say to me? And he's like, oh, come with me. I'm like, no, you said the word come like I'm a dog. It got a little heated, and I texted Ray what all was happening. And then we got up to the desk, and he's like, look, man, if they're thinking about looking at another car, you just need to lie and tell them how many people have died in that other car. And I was like, no, that's not going to happen. So I texted Rachel what happened, and she just texted me back in capital letters, quit. And so I just walked right out and left. And that was it. Like, I'm not that kind of person.
I don't disagree with you.
I always figured car dealerships were shitty. Now I know.
Can we just point out how stellar Bob's sleuth skills are? You could tell he watched Carmen Sandiego that he figured out it was John.
Dude, it was such a good show. You learned so much watching that show. I would love to rewatch the old Carmen Sandiego.
I actually, if you on YouTube, there's a channel called Defunctland, and he started off doing like things on different amusement parks that went out of business and stuff like that. But then he started another series and another series and another series. He did Defunct TV. He recently did an episode on Defunct TV of Carmen Sandiego. And it was really interesting.
John, what's your address?
I'm going to put it in big white letters across the screen like an at-home send a self-addressed stamped envelope.
So from your house...
I got guns, I don't give a shit.
From your house, it's like $65.
My man!
I'm going to send you an Altoid tin with a little tiny Christmas light on top of it. And it's going to say,
weird.
Open this up to hear the scariest sound in the world. And it's going to be Darling Nikki.
John and I both at one point, we talked about going out to Vegas and buying into the, what was it, $5,000 to buy in?
Not the World Series of poker, not the main event, but
no.
Like
to work your way into it.
The satellite.
Yeah, the satellite was like $5,000 for the one that I was looking at.
So I'm going to take a strong guess and say that Bob and John, well, I'm assuming I know John's going to say yes to this. Rounders is definitely up there in great movies.
Absolutely, it's in my top.
I'm not going to lie, I have never seen Rounders.
I saw it when it came out.
I have not.
Another movie I have on DVD, Blu-ray, Amazon. I believe I own it on Amazon. If you've...
I've heard it's great.
Wow.
I heard it's great.
You've never seen Rounders.
Yeah, I know. I can't either.
You know what, John? Normally, I would sit there and let Bob eat fucking Oreos all goddamn night, but today I didn't have the fucking time.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You're so fucking money,
Because you've never seen fucking Rounders.
You're so money.
Pay this man his money. Night. Check. Molly's game is great too, but not as good as Rounders though.
I like.
But I know. I heard it was based off of like a real game that was happening.
It's true. Oh, it's true. And when you find out who's the guy from Arrested Development, the kid from Arrested Development.
It's Michael Cera.
Michael Cera. He plays. He's like the main like young Hollywood star who's like a part of the game. When you find out, when you watch that movie and you're like, what a fucking asshole. When you find out after you watch it and you do your research who the actual actor was, I'm not going to say until you watch it.
I remember reading it.
You're just like, dumbfounded.
Yeah, I remember reading who all the people were at one point, but...
My absolute favorite card game type movie like that is Ocean's 11, the remake with Brad Pitt. It's a great movie.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway,
I don't care what anybody says. That was a fun movie.
I love all the ocean. I just said it was.
But they're not really gambling movies. Those are heist movies.
Yeah.
Oh, then my favorite heist movies, Tower Heist with Eddie Murphy and Ben Stiller.
I gotta tell you what.
I did not watch that.
It's a horrible movie.
Whenever Zombieland Casino Royale comes out, that's probably going to be my new favorite heist movie.
Zombieland Casino Royale?
My favorite magician movie.
That's funny.
All right, what's your top 3 magician films?
I think there's only 3 in existence.
No, there's a lot of them.
I can think of 4 off the top of my head.
Off the top of my head, number 1's The Prestige. And
clearly,
the Illusionist is right behind that. And then I'm gonna go with the oddball, the Hulu. Actually, both the Hulu and whatever the other one came. I think it was Prime. Amazing Jonathan documentary about him.
That was a good documentary.
So those are my 3.
I would say, as far as films, I'm gonna go Now You See Me for my 3rd one.
Oh, that's with Lex Luthor, right?
Yeah.
Dude, that movie was just fucking really well done.
Okay, so we're doing favorite magician movies?
Yes.
Okay, mine is going to be WrestleMania 7, Royal Rumble 1992, and Survivor Series 91.
What?
What?
What's the theme? Is there like a magician wrestling?
It's all an illusion.
No, we're watching The Prestige the entire time we're watching, Paul. We see the turn. Now the first time I watched The Illusionist, I liked it more than The Prestige the first time I saw it. And then I watched The Prestige again, and I was like, no, this movie just blows it out of the water.
It's a beautiful
It's just so fucking good. With the addition of Tesla and all of that shit, it was just so well done.
I kind of zoned out a little bit while you guys were talking because I wanted to see who you were talking about, Michael Cera. And now I'm going to watch that movie. But I'll tell you what, I already kind of assumed it was who John... I'm not going to say, but I kind of assumed it was...
You could say it. I'm not going to confirm nor deny it, but you have to see what a dick he is at a card table to people.
Well,
you're just like, you want to choke this little fucking son of a bitch. When you watch him play cards, if you've ever played cards in your life, you want to choke the shit out of him.
Well, I actually had in the back of my mind that it was that person. And the only reason I thought that was because I was thinking, who could Michael Cera portray that I know has a reputation for being that kind of a person? Because Topher Grace's portrayal in Ocean's 11 was also based on that person. I've read that before. You remember? Mm-hmm. You remember it? Yeah. I'd also read, whether or not it's true, I'd read that there was contention on the set of a certain movie they were both in together. A certain superhero movie that they were both in together because he played that role in Ocean's 11.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you're on the right track. We'll watch the movie first. Okay. Yeah.
I've heard a lot of it, and I just re-looked it up because my brain is shot that it was Tobey Maguire. But
spoilers!
I'm not confirming or denying because I haven't seen it.
It is. It's Tobey Maguire. But when you watch it, you're just like, really? Like,
well, you got to remember, him and DiCaprio made a movie that painted them in such a bad light, they tied it up in legal hell so they couldn't be... It would never get released so the public wouldn't see how they really acted. It was like a little documentary they filmed, and this guy was going to put it out. And they were like, no. Like, they were talking about how, like, taking bets on who was going to sleep with the most women each night and just horrible shit, all on live camera. And they were going to put it out, and he's like... And then DiCaprio got famous and was like, no, you can't do that. And it was right before Spider-Man came out.
Only if they followed the Cider House rules.
The movie was called Don's Plum.
That's the documentary?
No, that's the movie that they got made that never got released. All the lawsuits. It was an independent drama film. Nikki Cox was in it. A whole Kevin Connolly.
She looks awful these days.
Hey, my favorite.
They were paid $575 a day to appear in the film. They later sued to stop the movie from being released. As of 2019, the film is still blocked from release in the U.S. and Canada.
I'm going to choose something short this next time. I'm going to choose It's like a movie or a doc or something like
Yeah,
that. I don't know what it is.
I'll go movie from here on out.
Mine won't be a series from here on out. I'm not gonna be like, okay, watch all 12 seasons of Scrubs.
I'm just
all right. I'm gonna
24.
I'm gonna choose How I Met Your Mother, but each week we're gonna talk about each episode of How I Met Your Mother. Welcome to the How I Met Your Mother podcast.
We have 158 episodes to go.
How Your Brother Committed Suicide, season 1.
Are you kidding me? There's like 9 seasons of How I Met Your Mother, and it's a 22 episode.
Oh, I know. It's
all right. Well,
I thought it was a lot.
Then we're gonna watch X-Files afterwards.
John, just initial thoughts of Generation Kill.
Initial thoughts of Generation Kill. It has one of the best endings of any series that I have watched. The final fucking scene hit me right in the fucking feels. I'm not going to talk about it. Everyone else has seen it. Other than that, there were 2, maybe 3 likable characters in the whole fucking thing. And I enjoyed certain aspects of it, but all in all, I found it rather boring. I did like all the political shit, shining light on all the political shit our soldiers had to deal with during that time. I thought that was great to see. A lot of the combat scenes with the night vision were really well done. I think it was really well done, but all in all, I think it was 3 episodes longer than it needed to be. It's only 6 episodes.
Oh, 6?
6. I think you could have condensed it all down into a 3-hour fucking movie, and it would have played out a lot better. But also, I think it's important to show just how much time these soldiers had of nothing happening, just like in Jarhead, per se, with the first Gulf War, where the Navy and the Air Force were really our main forces, and the boots on the ground really didn't do a whole lot. But I enjoyed it. I'm glad I watched it. There's some great performances in it. I'm glad I watched it. And like I said, it's one of the best endings. That ending scene, I was like, fuck, they did that right.
Yeah, and just so everybody knows, it just like Band of Brothers, that was a book done by the Rolling Stone reporter from that show. And Rudy in the show is Rudy in real life because they couldn't find somebody badass enough to play Rudy.
Yeah, but he's hardly in it, though. You told me that, and I'm like, who the fuck is Rudy? And I'm like, oh, there he is. He's in it for 10 minutes throughout fucking 7 hours of show.
Yeah, well, the guy who played... to me, Alexander Skarsgård and the guy who played Ziggy in The Wire are the stars of the show.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Those are the 2 main characters. And it's awesome watching them interact. They're fucking hilarious with each other.
Talking about these movies automatically makes my mind go back to Saving Private Ryan. And when I think about Saving Private Ryan, I think about how many times America or America's forces or interplanetary forces have had to save Matt Damon.
Well, he's a national treasure. He's a national treasure.
That's because he was going to figure out how to grow potatoes from shit, man. Like, we weren't there yet. He had to get us over. He served a purpose.
And I'll argue that The Martian is my favorite Matt Damon movie.
There was another space movie that he was in that's my favorite space movie that he was kind of a douchebag.
Elysium?
We had to save him then, too. Fucking dickhead.
Yeah, I forgot he was in that.
Well, technically we didn't save him.
Yeah.
No, they tried. He fucked it up, though.
Me and my buddy Kyle rode our bicycles up to Bell Tower like we used to do every Friday night and fucking walked into that movie, and I thought I was walking into some Hollywood fucking war movie.
I'm sorry, I gotta stop you for 1 second.
Sure.
Just the way you said that, me and my buddy Kyle, we were walking down a long, dusty road.
All of a sudden, Kyle said, "Hey, let's get an ice cream and go see Saving Private Ryan."
And all of a sudden, there shined a shiny demon.
In the middle
of the
road.
And he said, "Nay, we are but men. Rock."
Yeah, just the way you said that, it sounded just like Jack Black.
Hey, if you guys do go to Immokalee tonight and John wins a fortune and becomes independently wealthy and a world traveler, I will tell you this: use some of that money to go to France and actually go to Utah and Normandy, and like just be there. It would definitely give you a new perspective on Saving Private Ryan.
I bet.
I have a vision of John in my mind getting off the airplane in France with a beret and a big oversized glass of red wine. Oh, bonjour, French people!
And you know what's funny is I actually had it in my head where John is like dressed as normal with a hat, like a straight-billed hat cocked sideways, and Ziggy's gold glasses from Generation Kill, cigarette in his mouth, and a Budweiser tall boy.
Oh, God damn it.
And I pour the Budweiser out on the sand, and I'm like, for all the soldiers.
Oh, Jesus.
So, I have something that I want to promote, and you guys don't have to watch it, but I thought it was so good that I wanted to let people know about it, and people can make up their own minds. I forget exactly what I was watching. It was something on YouTube, and an advertisement came on for a show on Hulu, a 3-episode documentary series that on the first glance, I'm like, this looks fucking stupid. And it's called Sasquatch. And that's what made me think it looks fucking stupid was the name. And then I watched the trailer, and it started kind of roping me in with this true crime aspect to it. And I watched the first episode. I would recommend watch the first episode. If it doesn't pull you in, then I'm wrong. And Coming to America 2 was a good movie. But if it does pull you in, that was a joke. But if it does, I'm telling you, I watched all 3 episodes consecutively. It pulled me into it, and it's about Sasquatch in the first episode, and then it becomes something much darker, and it's a real story from the perspective of this journalist, this investigative journalist who'd been doing it for like the last 20, 30 years. He infiltrated a white nationalist Nazi group, shaved his head, got tattoos. He was a lot like Matthew McConaughey's character in True Crime. Like he got
so like Seth Rogen in Long Shot.
I've only seen Long Shot once. Refresh my memory.
In the very beginning, he starts getting the swastika tattoo. They find out he's a reporter. He jumps out the second floor window and lands on a car.
Kind of, just not funny like that. But
that movie's hilarious.
It builds it up to show you what this guy's credentials are and where this story's coming from. And the story was back in '93 in Humboldt County. Humboldt was part of the region known as the Emerald Triangle for growing some of the best marijuana in the country. And
still is to this day.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I would love to try it. But he got into it with a buddy of his who was working on a farm in Humboldt County, and he got in with this guy. And one night, some guys came in that were working at the camp, and they were freaked out because they found bodies, these Mexican immigrant bodies that had been like literally just dismembered and decapitated. And they're like, it's Bigfoot. And the guy who owned the house, because one of the guys was just like, it was Bigfoot, man, it was Bigfoot. And the owner of the house is like, shut your fucking mouth. Shut up. And so the guy doesn't think anything of it, writes his piece, goes on with his life. Years later, it's gnawing at him, and he starts looking into like 3 murdered migrant workers in Humboldt County in 1993. And for the next 3 episodes, it takes you on this journey where he finds out the truth behind what really happened. And I'm not going to go any further into it other than saying don't let, if you think it sounds stupid because it's called Sasquatch and that's the basis used to get you in, just give the first episode a shot. That's all I ask.
You have my attention. You have my attention. I'll watch it.
It's you don't have. I'm saying for people watching or listening, like it really sucked me in.
I'll give it a shot.
Hey, Bob. Hypothetically speaking, say you had 2 buddies up in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. How much would it be to drive them to the Immokalee Casino?
Way too much.
Let's find
Couple
out.
grand.
Yeah, easily.
Doug,
fucking easily.
Doug, what's your address?
So
I'll toss you $100 for that.
Speaking of good gamblers versus bad gamblers, I'm going to suggest that everybody watches Mississippi Grind this week as my choice.
Well, we didn't really discuss Band of Brothers, or would we just do 1 episode? Was that
No, I'm still going to watch it.
Okay.
I'm not done.
Well, we can't do a whole season of it right now, though, because he's only watched 1 episode.
So far, I've enjoyed what I've seen. I'm being totally honest, if that were me, and they're like, when you're up in the plane, and it's like 1, 2, 3, go. There's no fucking way, dude. No fucking way.
Bro, you're only in the training version of them jumping out. Wait till you actually get to France.
Get to the actual fucking jump.
No.
It is way more intense.
Trust me, France would make you way more terrified.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should do a segment every week on the podcast that's called the text burn of the week, or just like something about our group text, because there's shit that happens in our group text that I think is so fucking funny. And I would like to nominate, if we do decide to do this week's goes to John, when he posted the fucking Rush music video, and he said, "Did you guys see the new Alpine Trio video?"
No, the new Korean Cambria. No, the new Korean Cambria fucking track is awesome.
I fucking laughed the whole entire time that video played.
That was good, but I thought Doug's retort was better.
I don't remember. I honestly don't remember what I said. I don't
Did
remember
you
what
getting in a
happened.
bag?
It was the lead singer to
Yeah, I remember it now. Oh fuck!
like, yeah, John, did you hear Brendan Kelly's new solo song?
I'm like, it's not as good as that Coheed track, but still.
I thought those were both really good.
I'm not. John, I want you to know, like, literally, the whole time that music video played, I could not stop fucking laughing.
I gotta tell you something. Bob and I were actually talking on the phone when I got that text, and I opened it up. My phone beeped. Hold on a second. I was at work, and I'm like, hold on a second. And I bring it up, and I'm like, John texted something. What did he text? And I'm like, hey, the new Coheed. And when I pressed play on it, I just started laughing out loud. And Bob's like, what is it? And I'm like, it's Rush, but he says it's the new Coheed. I thought Bob just like, it was real quiet on the phone, and Bob's like, he's a fucking idiot.
So last night, I'm driving, like, the two worst passengers I've probably ever had. These fucking white trash pieces of shit in Lehigh. The lady's like, you're gonna take us to the store, right? And I'm like, that's not how you ask a question. And she's like, well, I want to go to the store. I'm like, then put it in the app.
Oh, is that how it works? I haven't used any.
Yeah,
of this stuff.
you just add it. She's like, I don't want to do that. I'm like, then you don't want to go to the fucking store. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, so we're out in the middle of nowhere. She just starts being a bitch, and the husband's like, shut up, Shell, and I'm like, yeah, Shell, you might want to be quiet. And she's like, could you at least turn the radio up? And I'm like, I can do that. And I just fucking cranked it. And she's like, it's so fucking loud. It's so fucking loud. And it was just cranked. And the guy's like, oh, that sounds really good. And then I stop at the corner of their street to make the turn. And she's like, are you kicking us out of the car? I'm like, if I was going to kick you out of the car, I wouldn't have waited till I got to your street. And she's like, okay, that makes sense. And she's like, you could have got a big tip. I'm like, oh, I'm real sure I would have. You know, your washing machine's in the front yard. I'm sure the money would have been rolling in.
Oh my
I feel
god!
like we're learning a lot about Bob as a person through his tales of stories. Like, he's totally okay to commit grand larceny on the clock.
Steal somebody's dog.
Woman's dog, but fuck, do not ask to stop at the Quickie Mart on your way.
No,
home
I will gladly stop anywhere for somebody if they ask nicely.
Yeah.
Just ask me. Hey,
when I stole the dog, he put all the instructions in the app.
Yeah, I mean, he was right on the phone with me. But like, if I'm giving John a ride and he says, "Hey, do you mind going to the store?" Cool. But hey, take me to the store? No, not gonna happen.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is ask. All you gotta do is ask. And then I go pick up this lady, and she's what's the politically correct way to say it? Something's off.
Mentally unstable.
Schizophrenic.
Mentally
from Wisconsin.
No, mentally, something's like not working properly. And I get there, and she's like, "I have a shopping cart I need to bring," and I'm like, and I'm looking at my car, and I'm like, "And where do you think that's going to go?"
Don't you have a bike rack for my shopping cart?
And she's like, I'm used to taking a bus, not a lift. I'm like, well, They don't fit shopping carts.
Wait a minute, do buses fit shopping carts?
I have no idea, dude. And I'm just like, what's going on right now? And
why do you need to bring a shopping? What? I'm so confused.
Yeah,
what?
This was also in Lehigh.
Is it an Aldi's? We have an Aldi's shopping
Dude.
cart. I didn't want to get my.
I don't want to put the 25-cent deposit in. I can't put my own cart.
It was so weird, dude.
Can you imagine? Oh, Shock G of Digital Underground passed away this week. I realize we're a couple weeks ahead, and this won't come out, and it probably won't matter to some, but it matters to me to talk about the people that genuinely mean something to you, whether indirectly or directly, when they leave this earth. And Shock G was one for me. I really enjoyed Digital Underground. Not just enjoyed, but I got to meet those guys when I lived in Fort Myers, and he could not have been a cooler dude. And contributed some of the best music in my teenage years, my early teenage years, man. So
what they could have done was showed up on time to the show.
Yeah, they could have.
They were only 4 hours late.
But I'm not complaining because
I know. I'm just.
What was the drink? I don't. It might have been Zima.
Purple.
There was no. I wish. No, there was a drink at the time that it came in a blue bottle. It looked like it was like a shitty wine cooler. It was a clear liquid.
Hypnotic.
Was it Hypnotic? I thought it was
sounds
something
like
else.
It sounds like Bartle and James.
Like Sky Blue was. I think it might have been Sky Blue because they were making like a Bartles and James type drink in a blue bottle at one point. Whoever made it, whether it be Zima, or it tasted like Zima, but that was that brand of alcohol was promoting the show at Orbit Nightclub that night, and it was free. Like everywhere you looked, there were fucking barrels of that shit on ice, and it was totally free. And I remember thinking, my friend Matt and Brian and I were the only, aside from you, that I knew of, the only white people in the entire fucking club. And I was like 22, 23 at the time, or yeah, because that was fucking early 2000s. And so I was just grabbing free fucking drinks. I didn't give a shit that they tasted awful. It was free. And then when they finally fucking came on, like that dude, like fucking Shock G poured, what the fuck did he have? Hennessy. He had fucking bottle of Hennessy on stage and fucking poured Hennessy, like topped off my fucking bottle with just a bunch of fucking Hennessy. And then fucking, I remember black women just grinding all out. They started playing Sex Packets, and all these fucking black girls with big asses started grinding all over me. I thought it was one of the greatest nights of my life, dude.
Changed his life from there on out.
I wouldn't say it changed my life, but it certainly was a memorable moment, man. It was a fantastic concert. They paid tribute to Tupac. They went into a really great rendition of, oh, God damn it, I Ain't Mad at You. I Get Around, but they also did I Ain't Mad at You, and they did Rollin', I think, too. They did like a medley. They did a medley.
In memory of Shock G and Tupac, I am going to watch Nothing But Trouble.
Absolutely.
See them immortalized on the
great movie.
screen.
Great movie.
Fantastic movie. But
I love that movie.
I agree 100%. But that was my thing. Is rest in peace, Shock G. Gone, not forgotten.
Absolutely.
Bumping Digital Underground until I'm dead.
And on that note, we'll see you guys all next week. Love you guys.
Love you guys. Hope the Lexapro kicks in. Bye.
Bye.